Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready.
Let's talk about the word woke in right-wing propaganda. When discussing anything from the left, the right will typically say like, oh, so you're woke now, you're so woke, and they will use this in a certain way. The first function of the word woke is an ad hominem attack to write you off. Instead of discussing the argument at hand, the person who's right-leaning will use this phrase in order to attack your character or your identity and not the argument. Another way this word functions is as a thought-stopping technique. Let's say you present a point. That point sounds like a leftist point, so the person on the right will say, well, you're woke now, I see. And that shuts down the whole conversation. They're not going to hear anything more after that. Once they determine that you're woke, that's it. Leave it to the right to frame being educated on intersectional issues as a negative and being lulled into a slumber as a good thing.
Autism.
So it's early in the morning and I've been scrolling around on TikTok and I saw all of you guys posting about mansplaining, specifically women. And I'm like, oh, I should do one of those. I've been complaining to my fiance for quite some time now about my boss. They keep saying stupid ass shit to me. So I work in a food truck, but before then, I was a welder for 2 years, and I had only quit because the job I was working for wasn't good pay, you know. I had hurt my back, so I needed some time off. So I decided to take some time off to heal and then work in a food truck. Well, my current boss now didn't believe me that I was a welder and told me that women belong in the kitchen and that welding is a man's profession.
Let's talk about neo-pronouns and people who just don't get them. If you don't know who I am, my name's Blossom. I use they, them pronouns in English, en español y el français. For people who use neo-pronouns, we use them for a reason. We're not telling you you need to understand why we use those pronouns. All you have to do is respect them. Sometimes people have different experiences than our own, and I encourage everybody to do a better job of engaging with the voices and stories of people who hold identities that are different from our own.
So when I made this video a second ago, it was just to like joke about how like boring and unoriginal men are. But as I went through the duets, I realized something kind of alarming. In total, there were 56 duets. 44 of them were from men or boys, and 12 of them were from women. I categorized the videos based on their content and organized them from most to least aggressive, with violent as the most and nice as the least. Sexual's on the bottom not because it's the least aggressive, but because I didn't actually include it in the total number. So I flagged those videos immediately, which means I couldn't go back and double check. I distinguished between rude and mean based on the level of aggression shown in the video. So the rude videos were like men duetting it, they were being judgmental, but they weren't being super aggressive with their insults, whereas the mean ones were being super aggressive, but they just weren't quite violent in nature yet. And at this point you might be saying, well, who cares? You're like, it's a weird video, you're pretending to be a horse and you have a carrot that looks like a wiener. And like, yes, that's true. But I think it's really important to talk about the way that people respond to weird stuff, because weird stuff is a rejection of social norms. And when the response from one group is overwhelmingly aggressive and violent, we need to discuss why that is. It's misogyny. And also on a larger scale contributes to violence.
So absolutely. My first introduction into this was my grandmother explaining to me that my white skin was a blessing because I couldn't be outwardly identified as being Native American and I wouldn't have to suffer like she did. She was absolutely right. The violence and racism that is predicated against our darker complected brothers and sisters is fucking abhorrent, especially our Afro-Indigenous brothers and sisters. I fully recognize that because I am phenotypically white, I have privilege, and I try and use that privilege to help my brothers and sisters that don't have privilege.
Said if I could outrun him, he wouldn't give me a ticket.
I said it once before and I'll say it again, and I'm not sorry about it. This is white privilege at its finest.
Am I the asshole for uninviting my cousin, brother, uncle, and dad
to my wedding over a prank.
Depends on the prank. I want to hear the
Yeah,
prank.
it depends on the prank.
So I, a 22-year-old female, grew up in a family where men prank and tease each other all the time. Ever since my fiance, Tim, a 23-year-old male, and I got engaged, my cousin, brother, dad, and uncle joked about running some tests to see what type of man Tim is. They've done stuff like forcing him to play chess 4 times in a row.
Is that a prank?
Gotcha.
Checkmate, bitch.
So they pranked him by forcing him to play chess 4 times in a row, secretly slashed his tires to see if he'd fix it himself like a man, or get help like one of those lazy guys. They asked him questions like what jokes he'd tell his future mother-in-law, his opinion on abortion, Jesus, gender equality, etc.
Prank chip.
They also tested his fishing and hunting skills, overwhelmed him with hypothetical scenarios to test his decision-making / mental skills. They kept calling him slow and soft, but he has a medical condition, and then in brackets it says asthma. They, however, just think he's making excuses. I demanded they stopped, but my dad said that it's just typical stuff men challenge each other with, and said that I was ruining the fun. Last week, they took Tim on a 3-day trip and hid his inhaler.
Oh.
Okay. I've heard all I need to hear.
Yeah, not invited. Of course not. You tried to murder my fiance.
He left them and returned home and told me. I was seething after he said they admitted to hiding it as a challenge. I exploded on them when they returned. My cousin asked if little Timmy ran to me to tattle. I yelled at all 4 of them that they are uninvited to my wedding. My brother freaked out, saying it was a prank and they were going to give it back. My dad said they'd apologize if I insist, but Tim will have lost the little respect they had gained for him, and in their eyes will always be the soft college kid.
It's a wrap.
I called him and the others awful, then I left. My cousin is begging that we talk. My uncle has been quiet, but my dad is so mad. And he's getting my mom involved to get me to reconsider this decision. But I keep refusing to re-invite them. My mom is saying that I'm exaggerating and should let bygones be bygones and not let this ruin my relationship with my family. Am I the asshole for making it my hill to die on, or am I exaggerating?
Oh, no.
This is like classic macho
Alpha male
bro.
mentality.
Yeah, it's not cool, especially for like a dad with the fiance of your daughter. It's just a lot wrong with this.
These guys seem like very insecure assholes looking to power grab anytime they can. I apologize that you and your fiance are in this mess. Definitely do not invite them. Go live a happy life far away from those fucking assholes until they are ready to properly apologize.
Hey guys, just wanted to follow up on my Joe Rogan criticism video that, contrary to popular belief, I actually did not create thinking that it would start TikTok World War III, but here we are. I guess it has just kind of opened my eyes to the general lack of criticism that men receive on a day-to-day basis. So for example, as a woman, we are constantly criticized for our likes, interests, hobbies, artists we listen to, shows we watch, and we kind of just brush it off and say, okay, if liking this makes me this, then so be it. Evidently, that's not the case for men. If you criticize something that they like or listen to or watch, you are ugly, dumb, incompetent, uneducated, small-minded, and never gonna find a soulmate. So, yeah.
Watching movies written by 40-year-old men who think that loving women is creating them themselves, and I'm sick of seeing little girls liking those movies and think that they should always fit with male fantasies. I want to be myself every second, every day, without having to wonder if how I'm acting is hot, and I need for little girls to be able to say, I know what I'm doing, and it's not for boys, cause I don't wanna be the cool girl, no the pixie dream girl, neither do I want to be the geek who takes off her glasses and she's pretty, or love is starting, cause that's society, that's in movies, that's male fantasies, and we fuck these, cause I don't wanna be the cool girl, no the pixie dream girl, neither do I want to be anything for you, boys?
Here's the thing about white privilege you don't know. It's not your life story, it's just the part that shows. Because it's purely visual, it's not circumstantial. And yes, even though you're white, you can be broke. But you pick-me's always seem to miss the part where it doesn't mean your life hasn't been hard. It's just that it has never been due to the color of your skin and what society assumes because you're dark. There, I fixed it.